Hey guys, today's DevOps interview question for junior DevOps and SRE people is how do you create a virtual machine in GCP using GCP's CLI, which is called Gcloud. So if you want to think about it for a second, you can pause the video. In the meantime, I will remind you if you like the content I create, please like and subscribe. That helps my channel. So the answer to that question is basically to use Gcloud command and give it the right options to create it, right? Create the VM, which I will demo you right now, demo for you right now. So first of all, there's a couple of requirements. You have to have a project in GCP that is linked to a billing account, which I already do. I'm not going to show you that. But once you have that, you have to enable the compute API for that particular project. The way GCP works, and I will take you to my GCP console so you can see what I'm talking about. This is my GCP console. I'm on this project, right? And this is the project ID, and it's linked to a billing account, which I'm not going to show you. But if you go here, I think you can do from here API enable API and services, right? So what Google means is basically it has all these services, if you will, right? DNS, compute, what have you. So there's like a million of them. For each project, by default, most of them are disabled. So if you want to, for example, create a virtual machine, you have to enable this service called compute. Sometimes they're called APIs when they're talking about enabling them, but in the Gcloud command, as I will show you in a minute, they're called services. So two different words for the same thing, right? So in here, let's see if we can if I can show you. It's not giving me a list, I don't think. Oh, there you go. These are all the APIs slash services enabled on this project, right? So anyhow, so if without doing that, you can't create a VM. So it's a safeguard against running your costs because if you don't have those enabled, then you can't run anything on it. That means you can incur costs. Okay, so back to our code. I'm using VS Code here. So I have all these scripts, but I'll show you one of them. So here's the script for creating a VM in GCP. It's a few lines long, but really the main thing here is this one command: Gcloud compute instances. So compute is the service, and then you have to give it a name, and you have to give it some options. Not all of these are actually mandatory, and you can play with that if you want. But I have, so for the sake of time, I put some in there so I can show you in live demo to create a VM, right? So but before that, I want to also show you um, what APIs are available altogether. So here's a script for that. Basically, it's a really simple command. If I run this command, you will see, and really we should do a count on this. I don't know if you can see the screen there, the last lines. So there are 32 anyway. So now if I do, they're all available. Now if I do list of, let's see, where's that list? Enable API list. Yeah, here you go. Show enable API. So if I run this command, Gcloud services, basically services is the subcommand for all the APIs, right? I run that for this particular project. That's the project ID. If I run that, you will see that some are enabled on this particular project. And one of them is compute, as you can see here. Because that's enabled, I can actually create a VM in this project. So let's go back to the command or the script for creating a VM. So what I'll do here is, first of all, I'm going to get a list of running VMs, and you will see it'll be empty. And then I'll create the VM using this command, and then I will show the list again to see that's running. Now, then if I have time, I will actually delete the VM live so you can see how that's done. I wish I could make this a little smaller so you can see the whole screen. Anyhow, so now that I'm here, let's go to the terminal and I will just run the script. Yeah, that's better. If I run this particular script, First, it will show me, see, it said let's list a 0 item. That means there are no VMs running right now. And that right now is creating the VM and it's giving me a warning saying, hey, you're using too small a disk. It may not be so good for your performance, but I don't care because I don't want to spend too much money, right? So now it gave me a list of the VMs, which is only one, and it gave me some parameters around those VMs, right? So that's how you create a VM. It's basically a Gcloud compute instances command with some arguments about what image to use, what kind of machine I want to use, what type, in which zone, and we'll talk about that in another video. That's how you create a VM in GCP. Now let's see if we can delete the VM. So this time we will do live. So I'm not going to show you a script. That way we can learn how to do this live. So if we do Gcloud compute, that's our service, that's our API. And if I run that, it will just give me a whole bunch of options, right? So I happen to know that the next argument is instance. I think instances. I forget instances like it's up here. So now I want to delete. But if I do that, it's going to give me a warning saying, hey, you want me to delete something, but I need to know what to delete. So it's saying, it will give me a warning saying, instant names must be specified. So, okay, fine. Then I will then give it a name. And the name happened to be in our script was, I believe it's test VM1. Are you sure? Sure, I'm sure. And once it comes back, it shouldn't take too long, I don't think. In the meantime, we can go to our console and look at, we can go to compute engine, and it's still running right now, but it's getting deleted, as you can see from this little circle is going around and round and round. So, okay, at least in the command line is done. So now if I do gcloud compute instance sys and then list, it should be 0. That means it's gone. Even though it's not gone from the console, maybe I can refresh. And now it's gone. So we get the idea. So basically the idea is you have to have this project with the billing in a billing account connected to it. Then you have to enable the compute API/service, and then you figure out the command just by trial and error or looking up the documentation, gcloud compute instances and some parameters. I hope this was useful. I will see you in the next video.